بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. We still on the hadith إنما الأعمال بالنيات, actions are only judged by their intentions, وإنما لكل امرئ ما نوى, and everyone shall only get what he intended as a reward. فَمَنْ كَانَتْ هِجْرَتُهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ فَهِجْرَتُهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ. Whoever's migration was to Allah and His Messenger, meaning intentions behind his migration, then his migration is to Allah and His Messenger, meaning that's the reward he will get. وَمَنْ كَانَتْ هِجْرَتُهُ لِلدُّنْيَا يُصِيبُهَا. And whoever intentions was his behind his migration, his hijrah, was for the worldly life and to obtain something from it, أو امرأة ينكحها, or for a woman to marry her, فهجرته إلى ما هاجر إليه, then his migration is what he migrated for. Now the Shaykh Hafidhullah Rahimahullah, he brings the fawaid, the benefits from this hadith, and we're going to briefly go through that. He says, number one, the first benefit is al-ikhlasu fil amali wahda, sincerity of intentions in your deeds being for Allah alone. وَهُوَ الْمَعْنَى الْأَسْمَى, and this is the greatest, most loftiest meaning of this hadith of the Messenger of Allah. And this is the definition or meaning that the ulama of Tawheed and Seer and biography of the Prophet and the Salaf and Suluk and character and behavior, this is what they talk about, this definition. Number two, we benefit from this hadith, distinguishing worship, some of it from other worship, how to distinguish one worship from another worship. And the scholars of fiqh talked about it. This is what we cover. Number two, that all of our deeds circles around our deeds, or what our deeds circle around is our intentions. If the intentions is correct, then the deed is correct. If your intentions is corrupted, your deed is corrupted. And if your intentions is you strive to perfect the sincerity to Allah, your deed may reach kamal, perfection. All of it, or it may be nuqsan, it may be deficient, your reward, because your intentions is bad. So based upon that, if your intentions is for obedience, you get rewarded for obedience. If your intentions is to do a sin, then you get what you're going to get for your sin. The point we want to bring here is that your intentions, brothers, Ibn Rajab said some important things about the state of your deeds. Because when you do a deed, your intentions can go through changes while you're doing the deed. Your intentions can go through changes while you're doing a deed. Rather, scholars of hadith said, I will be writing a hadith of the Prophet, and my intentions in writing this hadith might have been one thing. But as I write the hadith, more reminders come to him, so his intentions change while writing a hadith of the Prophet. And this is the nature of our intentions. They constantly go through changes. As Sufyan al-Thawri said, أَشَدُّ مَا عَلَيَّ نُعَالِجَ النِّيَّةِ فَإِنَّهَا تَتَقَالَبُ عَلَيَّ. That the most difficult thing to treat is your intentions, because they constantly go through changes. So for that reason, Ibn Rajab, he mentions, ذَكَرَ Ibn Rajab أَنَّ الْعَمَلَ لِغَيْرِ اللَّهِ عَلَى أَقْسَامٍ. Ibn Rajab said deeds that is done for other than Allah are in categories. Number one, sometimes your deed, you do it for riyah mahdan, purely to be seen of others. لا يقصد به سوى مراءات المخلوقين. No intent behind your deed except for the creation seeing you. This, no reward, right? No reward. Or to obtain some worldly gains. No reward for you. And this, لا يكاد يصدر عن مؤمن. And it's rare to see coming from a believer that his intentions be done for to please others or to be seen of others. But وَإِنْ كَانَ أَصْلُ الْعَمَلِ لِلَّهِ. Now what if the case of the person's intention when he first started to do his deed was lillah? It was for Allah. What if that's the case, right? ثُمَّ تَرَى عَلَيْهِ نِيَّةُ الرِّيَاءِ. And then while he's doing, his intentions suddenly change. He doing it to be seen of others. Like, for example, I say Allahu Akbar and I start praying and I'm reciting by myself in the corner, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. And then some brothers come in and sit down, and I see them, I can feel them staring at me. Now my intentions change. All of a sudden, Shaitan whispered to me, and now I'm starting to do the deed to please the people or to be seen of the people. Now this person, he realizes this. He strives very hard. He strives to push that bad intention now away from himself. What's the case of his deeds? Is it accepted or is it rejected? Which one is it? Accepted or rejected? You think it's accepted?
He kept striving.
He kept striving to repel it.
Well, he gets rewarded.
He said he gets rewarded. The ulama say, فَإِنَّ ذَلِكَ لَا يَدُرُهُ بِغَيْرِ خِلَافٍ. There's no difference of opinion that his intentions don't harm him. That entrance of bad intent is not harm. فإذا اختلف العلماء من السلف في استرسال الرياء الطارئ هل يحبط العمل أو لا يضر فاعله ويجازى على أصل نية. What the scholars differ about the time frame his intentions was to be seen of others. Does that period get rejected from him? Or is rejected anything after that point? Only accepted the beginning intentions. The scholars differ about that. What do y'all think? That's something to think about, right? What's the case? That portion could be rejected. It could be accepted. Why do scholars differ? Because we won't know until Yawm al-Qiyamah. Right? You're not going to know till that happens. So because of this, the scholars differ. This is what this teaches us. Strive hard to fight against your intentions. And if you fight against it, continue your deed. Because of the opinions is, some scholars say he loses what had the riyat in it. What he started with, he's rewarded. And after he start fighting against it, he's rewarded. Like this. And the scholars do. Some scholars say, no, it don't even affect it. It don't even affect his deed at all. Because that's something Shaitan came and whispered to him. And he was affected. And that seemed like to be the stronger opinion. But the point here, that should put khawf in our hearts. When it comes to doing our deeds, to make sure that they sincerely done for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that teaches us what? وُجُوبُ الْحَذْرِ مِنَ الرِّيَاءِ وَالسُّمْعَةِ وَالْعَمَلِ لِأَجْلِ الدُّنْيا. It teaches us to be cautious, the obligation of being cautious from doing your deeds to be seen of others, to be heard of others, or doing your deed for the sake of the dunya. We got to check that. That's why many of the ulama of the past, they used to hate making money off of the da'wah. Because there's a thin line between lillah wa lidunya. Doing it for Allah and doing it for the dunya. As an example, you got a job, right? Your regular job. You know what they say job stand for? J-O-B? Just over broke. Right? Some people say this. So they say the worker, he just do enough work not to get fired. And the boss pays him just enough money so he don't quit. And this is a reality for many people. He come out, he see extra stuff that's going to help the company. I'm not doing that. They don't pay me enough money, right? Have y'all ever heard that before? Or the person will go, the boss say, I'm going to give him 5 cent raise this month. Yeah, I don't think he did enough work. And you over here say, yes, I knew he was going to do that. That's why I just give you just enough not to fire me. Right? It's easy to do that li'amal as-salih, for righteous deeds, when you earn money for your da'wah, for your efforts. That's for Allah. That you can quickly say, I gave them enough. That's all the job requires. I'm not going to do extra. Now you lost your reward because you're doing it for the people or for the money. It's easy for your intentions to become corrupted. This is why many of the Salaf, they used to avoid trying to making money off of their da'wah because of this very thing itself. It's dangerous. It's hard on your heart. This is why many of the Salaf, rahimahumullah, they strove their best to avoid that. So much so, the Salaf used to say that your deeds are written in two books. You heard me say this before. They call it in Arabic diwan. Al-a'mal fi diwanain. Your deeds are in two books. Diwan sir wa diwan al-alan. Deeds that are done in the book of deeds that are open and seen by others. And then you have deeds that you do that is secret and hidden and no one can see it. Okay? كان السلف يركزون في ديوان السر. The Salaf used to focus on doing their deeds in the hidden. Why? Because they knew that is for Allah. No one sees it but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They focused on that because they know that's going to be accepted. Because no one saw them but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the point here, these are people who paying attention to their deeds constantly. So it's important for us to pay attention to our deeds. Because as we said, one of the Salaf went to Ali ibn Abi Talib. It was narrated that he went to kill a man. And when he went to strike the man, to kill him in the battle, the man spat in his face. And he stopped from killing him and turned away from him. And when he was su'il, لما سئل لما لم تقتلوا هذا الرجل. Why didn't you kill that man? الذي في الغزوة هذا الغازي. Why didn't you kill him? He said, لأنني لا أعرف لا أقتله لله أو أقتله لنفسي. Because I wasn't certain if I was killing him for Allah or killing him for myself. So this type of checking your intentions is serious because العواطف تؤثر في العمل. Your emotions can affect your deeds. And we have to pay attention to that. How many times you came into your wife, you smiling at her, تبتسم في وجه زوجك, you're happy with her, أنت فرح بها, you're happy with her, ثم لفظت كلمة, and then she said a word, غضبت عليها, you was angry at her. You came in happy with her, yeah bitch, what's wrong with you? I want to kill you now. هكذا نية تؤثر مؤثرة بالعواطف. Our intentions is affected by our emotions. So we have to constantly check it. Now, su'al, here go a question. Who's going to get the greater reward? Fulan al-wahid. Man huwa ajruhu a'zam. Who's going to have the greater reward? Bayna rajulaini, between two men. Rajulun bada'a amalahu lillah. وفي أثناء هذا العمل لا ترى عليه أي شيء يؤثر في نيته. And in the beginning, he starts his deed for Allah, and then nothing appears to him to challenge his intentions in that deed. That's such so-and-so. He gets his reward. Right? ورجل الثاني نيته الصالحة. His intentions is good in the beginning. ولكن ترى عليه شيء أثر في نيته. Then appeared to him something that affected his intentions. ثم دفع. He tried his best to stop it. And he struggled with it. As an example, his wife, زوجته, his wife, فعلت شيئا أغضبته. فأغضبه. His wife did something that angered him. Man, he was doing a deed to make his wife happy. But now, no one sees him that he's doing his deed for his wife, but Allah. But she did something that just angered him. Like she sent him a bad text. He's out trying to do something khair for his wife, lillah. Now, something came and his wife angered him. And he says, I shouldn't get this for her. And then he fights it. I'm doing this for Allah. I'm still going to get it for her. And he brings her the gift and gives it to his wife. Whose edge is going to be a'zam?
Second.
The second one, no doubt. Because Allah tested him and he passed. And what's the dalil ala dhalika? What's the evidence? Ashad idam al-jaza bi'idam al-bala. Because the Prophet said the greatness of your reward is based on the greatness of the trial. كلما ازدادوا عملوا شدة. Every time your deed increases in hardship, كلما ازداد أجر. Every time the deed reward is going to be increased. So this is why it's important to constantly check on our intentions. So we close with this hadith of Rasulullah, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ وَإِنَّمَا لِكُلِّ امْرِئٍ مَا نَوَىٰ. For indeed, actions are only judged by intentions, and everyone shall get what he intended. هذا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. You have a question, فضل.
Is everything okay in your home?
Huh?